when it comes to perverted characters in Dragon Ball, I think most of us can agree that Master Roshi is number one. He is the quintessential old man pervert character. However, there are other characters who exhibit, let's just say, strong interest in sexual things. One of them happens to be Bulma. And if you've never watched the original Dragon Ball anime or read the beginning of the Dragon Ball manga, you may not be aware of this. So today I want to talk a little bit about this and how Bulma's obsession with sex was the spark that led to everything we got in the Dragon Ball franchise.
Panty? パンティは入ってない。
Let's begin by looking at how Toriyama portrays Bulma as, well, for lack of a better word, a horny character. Towards the end of the first story arc of Dragon Ball, the Emperor Pilaf Saga, our protagonists, Bulma, Goku, Yamcha, Puar, and Ulan find themselves captured by Emperor Pilaf. He's trying to gather all of the Dragon Balls in order to wish for world domination, and he's managed to get a hold of 6 of the 7. Bulma and friends are still in possession of that last Dragon Ball, and so he's trying to get them to tell him where it is. However, they're not cooperating, so he is forced to resort to more drastic measures. What he does is he grabs Bulma and he threatens to do something itchy to her. Itchy is a Japanese word that can be translated a bunch of different ways. Perverted, sex, sexy. In this case, I would just say that basically Emperor Pilaf says, if you don't tell me where the Dragon Ball is, I'm going to do something perverted to you. So, of course, the characters are reacting and they're going, oh my god, he's going to do something perverted to her. What's he going to do? What's he going to do? It turns out that he just ends up blowing a kiss at her, and Bulma just looks at him and asks him, is that it? Is that all you were going to do? Like, what even was that? And now we get to the part that I wanted to highlight. This is where it gets really interesting, because after all this, Bulma goes on to say, I thought you were going to strip me naked and do herohero and pafupafu and kyoikyoi and inguri monguri to me. Let me break these down one by one. So the first one that Bulma mentions is herohero. And this is not a sexual term in Japanese. It is being used in some kind of sexual way in this situation. So I guess in the world of Dragon Ball, herohero is something sexual. The next one is pafupafu. And you probably already know what pafupafu is. I've done an entire video about it, so you can check out that after you're done watching this one. But basically, the short explanation is that pafupafu is the act of burying your face in usually big breasts and then having the woman squeeze them on you. This is probably a term invented by Toriyama. However, it's also possible that he just heard it somewhere, or it's a dialect thing from Nagoya, from the general Aichi area where he was from, and then he just decided to use it, and then he popularized it through Dragon Ball and then later on Dragon Quest. But we don't know, so I'm just gonna assume that it was a Toriyama invention because it's just more interesting that way. Anyway, the next one is kyoikyoi. This is also just nonsensical. It is not something that is said in Japanese, and it is not a sexual term in Japanese. So this appears to be 100% an original Toriyama sex term, and we don't know what it is. And then the last one is inguri monguri. Inguri monguri apparently traces its origins back to the Hiroshima dialect. It has a lot of different meanings, but generally speaking, it seems like it refers to the act of wiggling or twisting your body around. It's also been used in a way roughly equivalent to hanky-panky, so just a general kind of term that refers to doing sexual things. Now, it's important to point out that this word is not commonly used at all in modern Japanese. It seems like it had a little bit of popularity during the 1980s, but nowadays I think many people, they're just completely not aware of this term. Or if they hear it, they may immediately think of this scene in Dragon Ball because it's just not a commonly used term. Inguri monguri, kimochi. But here's the point that I'm trying to make. This scene does not present Bulma as a demure character who blushes at the mere mention of anything sexual. On the contrary, it presents her as someone who is very knowledgeable about sexual things. She is not embarrassed at all to verbalize them. She doesn't hesitate to describe herself as being stripped naked and having all these things done to her. To be quite blunt, this scene presents Bulma as a perv. And then on top of that, we also see that Bulma is very aggressive when it comes to guys that she takes an interest in. So, of course, we have the whole Yamcha thing. At the time, Yamcha is not able to be around women. He gets all nervous and freaks out and runs away. But Bulma is totally comfortable around guys, and she makes it very clear that she is very much interested in Yamcha. That ends up working out, at least at the end of that saga. Much later on, it doesn't work out so well, but that's a topic for another day.
Wait, X? What's that about?
Yeah, I'm breaking up with you.
What? But why?
But the other thing that I want to mention is the first time that Bulma encounters Ulan. Ulan is, of course, this character that can shapeshift, and the first time that he encounters Bulma, he turns into this very handsome, older gentleman type character. I don't think he looks that handsome, but let me know in the comments if you think this is a good-looking guy. Either way, Bulma immediately goes crazy for him, and he asks her bust size. So what does she do? She rips open her jacket, shows off her chest. Now, she is still wearing clothes under the jacket, so it's not that bad. But she sticks out her chest and yells out, 85 centimeters! So here we see that when Bulma falls for a guy, she doesn't hold back, and within seconds, she is basically throwing herself at him. Now, put this all together, and it's pretty clear to see that Toriyama depicts Bulma as a character very strongly driven by her sexual impulses. Yes, I'm aware that I'm talking about a 16-year-old character, but that's what the manga and anime are showing us, so I'm just presenting it to you as is. But what about that thing that I said at the beginning of the video? Bulma's obsession with sex is what led to everything we've seen happen in the Dragon Ball franchise. And I'm not exaggerating. I'm very serious when I say that, because let's think about how everything in Dragon Ball got started. Bulma decided to go on this crazy adventure to find the Dragon Balls. Why? Because she wanted to wish for a boyfriend. So this desire for a boyfriend led her to basically risk her life and go looking for these Dragon Balls. That led her to meet Goku. And then Goku left his home. He ended up meeting Master Roshi and Chi-Chi and Krillin and all these characters that became important parts of his life. And then eventually he ended up dying and training with King Kai and defeating Frieza and Cell and Boo, etc., etc., etc. So the only logical conclusion is that Bulma's horniness saved the entire Dragon Ball universe. So what do you think? Do you think that Bulma was portrayed as a very horny character? Did I miss anything? Drop me a comment if you have any ideas. Or just say, I enjoyed the video, I didn't like the video. Whatever it is, help me grow the channel. I got more videos coming and I need your help to reach more people, so hit that like button too. By the way, that whole part with the herohero, pafupafu, kyoikyoi, and inguri monguri, that's not in the English dub of Dragon Ball. That was basically omitted. Not the scene, but they just dubbed it in a very different way. For obvious reasons, you can't really, dub nonsense Japanese, right? I understand it. But yeah, that was not in the dub. So if you want to understand what is actually in Dragon Ball in the original Japanese, I highly recommend using subtitles or watch my videos, because I don't really look at the English unless it's to compare. I go to the source. I actually speak Japanese. I have a master's degree in Japanese language and linguistics. I'm a nerd about these kind of things. So if you enjoy what I do, hit that subscribe button. I'll be back in the next one.